up on your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tea Time with AuthorAID. It is a very informal networking event of AuthorAID that happens once or twice a month, and we try to meet scholars from around the world and then talk about certain topics that are familiar to many of us. And today we have Nafisa, our foundational steward of AuthorAID, to guide us through the topic of how to get started with the research. First of all, thank you so much for joining in. And I'd like to request every one of you to follow a few sets of ground rules. Please mute yourself while you are not talking. And when you want to talk, you can raise your hand and make utilization of a lot of interactive tools in here. The second is please use the chat function. This is also a networking event, so don't forget to get to know each other and make some connections so that you can explore the collaboration opportunities in the future. If you have any problems anytime in the program, you can contact us. Um, you can you can email me also, or you can directly text me here. And with this, I'd like to hand it over to Nafisa for the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Atia. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I hope it will be a more interactive session. So we will all learn from each other. It's not like just a guidance, but it will be more interaction between me and you. And if you just allow me to share my screen. Okay. I think just a moment. I just have issue. Just
Nafisa, are you having issues with something?
yes, I'm trying to share my screen, but it didn't give me.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure it out because it doesn't give me the option of sharing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just maybe I will rejoin again, maybe.
Yeah, or you can send it to me on
sorry.
WhatsApp and I can share it on your behalf.
Okay.
So while we sort out the presentation issue, some of you can share what are your expectations from today's session, although we collected that in the very beginning in the Google form, but maybe we can have a little bit of the discussion about that. I can see that Arup MD Kual is raising the hand. Is there something?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, good afternoon and good day everywhere you are because time differences could be there as well. Thanks for the introduction. I think I would like to introduce myself again. I'm Arop Kwal. I'm an anesthetist by profession. I'm based in Botswana. And I've got an interest in research, mainly anesthesia because of my profession. critical care or emergency care, pain, and got also recently some interest in cancer and obesity as well in relation to cancer. Maybe just to start with is just from the perspective of the topic, how to get started with research. I think it's always good to identify a certain problem that a population or a community is having, and that could be the starting point. Always, once you identify a certain problem, then you can try to find answers to the research questions that you are addressing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So is it okay, Nafisa?
Thank you very much, Aru, for sharing your opinion toward this. I think, can you just make it full screen? So yeah, as you know, our session today, it will be like about how to get started with research. And can you go to the next slide? I will just mention the outline of the session. Next slide. We will start about what drives you or the drivers of research, why you want to conduct the research. We'll just make a bit discussion about what is research, what do you think is research about, and what scientific research is. And also we will move on about the criteria of selecting research project or research protocol. We will talk about scientific methods, the research structure, and how to take a step, which it will be like advice according to my experience, how to take a step to be in a research, and the skills that you need as a researcher. So before we start, I have one question, and I hope all of you might have answer for this question. Even if you don't have, you just like what came to your mind just directly, you can just share it. And the question is the first one: why do you want to conduct a research, or what drives you to make a research? You can raise your hand or unmute yourself, or you can share in the chat.
Okay, can I go on?
Yes, yes.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Blessing Abai Sunday. I'm a pharmacist from Nigeria, and I'm passionate about research because I'm a curious person. I'm inquisitive as a human, and as one who loves to find answers to certain things, I always want to bridge knowledge gaps in the delivery of optimal healthcare and pharmaceutical care service. So that's why I love research.
That's very nice, very interesting. Anyone else? I think.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Josephine, go ahead. I will talk after. Okay, I was saying that sometimes you can research on a topic which is popular in the news, something which is being discussed and everyone is talking about it, but there are a lot of questions about it. Then you can pick a topic from there out of curiosity. Thank you.
Nice. I can find also offer solution in the chat. One of also the offer solution. Ilufisan, if I pronounce your name well.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Benga Ilufisan, originally from Nigeria, but I'm a doctoral student in sociology in the US. I'm interested in research because it helps me to be able to, because I mean, society is full of social problems that keeps coming every day. So it's my interest to try to look at, find answers to social problems that we have in the society, questions about social problems that we have in the society. And basically, I am so much interested in agricultural system the experience of farmers generally, and also inequality at all levels. So those are the things that drive my research interest.
Good, nice answer. Next slide, please. Yes, as you can see here, all these ideas or drivers you already mentioned. As a curiosity, you are curious about something, or you would like to observe something where, for example, let's say that you just find one of type of insects while you are going on your street, and you just like try to observe that insect, what type of that insect, and what can it cause or everything. It's just one of the curiosity. Or you would like to solve a problem in the society, which we have a lot of problems. They can mention that, for example, conflict. It can be problem regarding food. It can be problem regarding water. If it's like we don't have cleaning water, for example, accessing to our water. All these are problems, which is the main core of the research. Or it's just knowledge. You want to know more exactly about, for example, one of the participants now, they mentioned that it's like there are a lot of popular topic, or we can say that hot topic, like climate change. As you can see that nowadays, the COP to 28, they conducted their conference, and climate change become like a big problem in the whole world, and people are start talking about it. And if you just start writing about that research, or find like a specific area in that topic, you will definitely find high acceptance from journals to accept your paper or research. So knowledge is the main thing. Also reading, if you read more, you will discover more. Also needs, as I mentioned, for example, we need clean water, we don't have it. So we will try to find a solution for non-clean water, so that's it. Or sometimes it's just like profit or economy. A lot of industries nowadays, they have problems, for example, or they would like to make impact of specific product, and this impact could be also impact of research. So the industry, they want to make profit, but at the same time, it's a solution and it's useful for the society, for example. It could be an opportunity. For example, AuthorAID is an opportunity. And if they conduct a global research and they are seeking for people to be a part of that, we can call this opportunity. So if you have that skills to be a part of this, then we can say that you can join them. And it also can be interest, as Elifisine mentioned that. It's just my interest to work on that thing. So everyone has their interest and desire. And sometimes just a matter of fun. And I remember one of the session, like she mentioned that her supervisor asked her that she was like in the PhD, and her supervisor asked her that, why you want to conduct the research? And she said that just to have fun. So sometimes if you like that thing, you really will have fun on it. So these all are things that can drive people to do research. Next slide, please. And there are a lot of reasons also they're mentioning. This is just part, not all of it. Yes. Another reason is to influence change of phenomena. Yes. So let's have a definition of research. What do you think research is? Or let me just simplify or give example. Imagine that you have a grandpa in your house, or one of your relatives, and you are discussing with your grandpa, and you are asking him like about his story, life story. And hi, Grandpa, tell me about your childhood. Tell me what you have done in your work, in your life, your experience. So you keep asking. And the more you ask, the more your grandpa will interact with you. And this interaction, this is the main thing, is interaction in research. And what you are doing is research. The more you are asking questions, it's the same like an equivalent of research. Research is consisting of questions, and you would like to answer that question. And the result of, or the answer of that question, we call it result. And that result you will interpret it, and then at the end of the day, you will communicate it to the community. So the same way, when you ask your grandpa of that story and they keep sharing and you interact in the middle, the more you will discover about their life, and then you can summarize that in short sentence, or we can say that in short paragraph, this is a story of my grandpa. The same thing goes with research. So you're trying to observe something, and after you observing that, you find question or you find a problem, and you would like to find that solution of that problem. After finding the solution of that problem, you will, even the problem has a lot of things. I will talk to this in more in details in the next slides. So, and then you will analyze what you have got, and after analyzing it, you will interpret that thing. So that's simple about research. Can we go to the next? Let's say how to select a topic or project selection of criteria. There are a lot of criteria that you can select a topic. First of all, before you start searching, you need to search. And have you ever asked yourself that, do I need to search before I start research? So I can say yes, because for example, you just have a topic in your idea, like in your mind, or just idea came to your mind and you would like to search about it. And when you go and search about it in a lot of database, and you find that all that question already has been answered. So you need to search and to find a gap in that search. And also you have to have interest. And one of the examples that when I started my PhD, since I'm doing my PhD, at the beginning, my supervisor suggested for me a topic, which it was not that interesting for me. And it took me a long time to dive deep to know that issue than to be in the track. So the thing is that the more I read, I was like expanding, not narrowing. And that's what the time that when you feel lost. But I realized that there was a gap in that, which is, I don't know, which is knowledge. So knowledge is the main thing. I didn't like that topic while I don't know anything about it. But when I go and search more and I find like, oh, there are a lot of articles that have been written in this topic, and they are even more deep in this topic. So that thing, the more I read, the more I create interest in myself. So interest is the one of the important things. Also, it should be relevant to your field. I know that there are a lot of multidisciplinary research nowadays, but at the same time, if that topic is not in your field, for example, I'm in the field of public health, and I know like public health can be related to a lot of fields, but at the same time, I cannot go and do a research in astronomy, for example, because it's not my field and I don't know that much on things. Even I cannot interact with people that much. So also it shouldn't be like broad. What I mean by broad, as one of the examples that I mentioned, climate change. So I cannot just say that I would like to do a research in climate change. So you have to be more specific in climate change. What do you exactly want to be? Like, is it like about greenhouse, you would like to work on it, or about flood? So even in flood, you have to be more specific according to the area, exactly. For example, the problem in that area. It shouldn't be duplicate to a research that had been conducted. For example, if there is a research had been conducted in Nigeria, the same research I cannot conduct it again, unless it should be in another area, for example. But even in that area, you have to have like a very, very, very good justification about it. Can you move to the next? It also has to be, specifically if you are working in like your study is about degree study, if it's master or bachelor or PhD, it should be relevant to your supervisors to the area. It's also have to have a timeline. For example, I would like to conduct a research which should be which takes 6 months, like a normal paper. I'm not talking about big research. It should take 6 months. In these 6 months, I have to divide it. In the first 2 months, I will try to make literature review and search about the topic, find my questions, hypothesis, and etc. And I have to finish it. Why that timeline very important? Because if you don't conduct that research in a specific period of time, somebody else might conduct it, and you just surprised that, oh, somebody already published that thing. Or for example, if you're getting funding from agency, they require from you to conduct that research in a specific period of time. And if you don't, you might lose the funding that time. Can we go to the next? The topic should be applicable, next, and should be also acceptable. It should be cost effective, that if the research doesn't have, it needs funding, for example, you cannot conduct it if it really needs funding. And it should be like, you should make sure that the tools that you are using, if it is like data collection tool, if you are conducting experiment, all the tools are available. Also shouldn't create issues in data collection. And what I'm saying in this part is specifically is that if you really create your own survey by yourself and you have that skills of data analysis, you will know exactly if your data will have issue in the future or not. So this is also one of the main skills that you have to know. Next. Ethical consideration, it's the main, specifically if you are working like in human studies or animal studies, you should have ethical consideration, and you have to keep the word or page limit in your mind. Each journal had their own guidelines, you have to follow it and know all requirements of the research, specifically if it is like part of the degree, it should be aligned with the hot topic. That's what I mentioned. And this is, I'm not talking about degree, but it's if you just want to conduct any paper or to be well updated in the research, you have to target and you know the requirements of each journal, what they want. And a lot of journals, they have collections, for example. So in that collection, there are a lot of hot topics or the need of that things, and you can check that. For example, that hot topic in your country, if it is applicable, then you can conduct it. You have to have aim, research questions, and also solve the problem. And it has to be also researchable topic. Next slide, please. So regarding types of research, there are a lot of types of research, but mainly I can say that research is divided into 3 parts, which is application and also objectives and also like type of information. So application, they also divide it to 2, to pure research or applied research. According to the objective, is it like descriptive research or like explanatory research? And type of information, and this is, I think most of the people, they do it, it's divided to 2 parts, which is qualitative research and quantitative research. And it depends, like for example, in the medical field, more quantitative research, they do it than qualitative. And in social science, they do like qualitative research more. And recently they were like more interest in the mixed method studies, where they combined both of them together. And if we also like take the studies in the epidemiological studies, like one of my because it's my field, I can say that epidemiological studies, they have experimental studies, observational studies, and even for the observational study, there are descriptive studies, analytical studies, and then these has been divided to cross-sectional or cohort studies or case control studies. So depends on the type of study. Also, you will decide which study that you would like to work on it. Next slide, please. This is the structure. I'm not going to spend more time on this because, as I mentioned, the type of studies now, they are like, you have to study theoretical background. You can go on that later. But let's talk about the scientific process. If you would like to conduct a research, the first thing you have to do is to make observation or to observe something or to find a solution, as you all mentioned that as example. And it starts also by asking a question. And what you do, like you find a question or just this question come to your mind and you would like to know exactly more about this. So you would like to know what is the problem behind that. So why should this like research or topic should be studied? And then you will select the statement of that problem, which is, we can say that it's like problem justification. And you have to know more. So you have the observation, you have the question, and to know more about this, you have to go and search about it. And to search about it, you will go to a lot of database and to find the literature, what is known already and what is unknown, to make sure that it's a gap. and why you want to conduct that study, and what do you want to achieve from that study, which is define your objective and also your hypothesis. And after that, according to it, what is your outcome of this research? So it could be like define your variables, independent variables and dependent variables. And during trying to check all these things, if you are doing, for example, experiment, you will keep testing, you will keep removing, adding, improving until you get the result that you want. And then you keep analyzing it. At the same time, you have to check on the methodology, like which method that you would like to use. Is it like method that had been used, or it's a new method that I really would like to use it? And then you conclude and communicate what you already have, get from that. Can we go to the next slide, please? So if we take it like in very short, like how to take a step, you have to start by a question. And there are a lot of type of research questions. I'm not going to mention that here because you have limited time. And then you take that question. Either you try to search by your own, to go to databases. A lot of databases, there are a lot. For example, in the medical field, there are PubMed, and you can Web of Science, or you can go Cochrane and other databases and try to find a gap and develop your search terms in this literature. And you have to search exactly this problem, global and regional in your country. And if you find that question has been answered, then in the same article that you find it has been answered, you might find the limitation. So you will find another questions. But if it is not answered, this what we call the gap problem, or the problem that you have to really work on it. So if I talk about the outline in general, that you have a research question, and this question, you can formulate your objective. So you have to know exactly what is the question of the study. You would like to address it. And you search, which will be your background. We call it also the significance here. And you have to know exactly, when we talk about the significance at the same time, we have to know like why these questions are very important. And you have to know the design, like, as I mentioned, the time frame, which could be also the rationale of your study. And you have to know the subject. So the selection criteria of the sample also should be a part of that thing. Who will be your subject? Who will be your target? And also those people, how can be selected? If they are patients, for example, will you go to the hospital? Will they hospitalize people? Or if they are patient already recorded and the data already available, and then you will define your outcome, as I mentioned. And then like you have to know like how large is the study is and how well the study will be analyzed. So all these things we have to put it in our mind. Next slide. There are 4 W's questions. We have to pay attention to these W questions when we conduct any type of research. And sometimes I call it like concept mapping, because if you know what you want, why you want it, where you going to conduct it, and how you're going to conduct it, or who will be your target, then it will be easier for you to define. So if we take again, I'm just taking the climate change because it's really a big issue. If we take again climate change as a big problem, or let's say the problem, what do you want to do exactly? We have to know the aspect of this problem. Do I want to work on that climate change, or what exactly I want to, where I want to do it? So does my topic, for example, related geographical area, will it be in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa? Where exactly in sub-Saharan Africa? Am I going to conduct like cover all the countries there, or there are specific countries who are really facing big issue that I have to include? So you have to have like very clear justification about it. And for example, as I mentioned, in climate change, will I go work on global warming? What else I can work on it? Who will be in my study? So are these people involved or affected? Or for example, does this topic like cover animals or humans? And why? What is the main issue of the reason behind doing that? And if I talk more about the reason behind that, the easiest way to do it, it's about, I can formulate my problem in something called problem tree. Have you heard about problem tree before? If any one of you heard about problem tree, you can just give an idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, there, I think. Any one of you heard about problem tree? Okay. So the problem tree is basically, can you go to the next slide? It's actually a map of mapping your problem, of the research problem, in the form of a tree. And then you divide it into 3 parts. So the core of the problem will be in the middle. And then you have to see the cause of that problem. And then at the same time, to see the consequences of that problem. So when you focus on it in this way, it will be easier for you to formulate it. Let's have example for the next slide, please. I got these examples in one of my colleague who presented this, and this was like example like a conflict, which is violent conflict. What is going on? I'm not sure if you heard about it, but there is a conflict in Sudan nowadays. It's literally war, and this conflict like took long time ago, since 2003, and nowadays it's became even worse. So if we take the main problem, which is be like the conflict or violent conflict, to know the causes behind that conflict, we can go down to the root of the trees, which is the causes of that. It can be like this. Oh, sorry about this slide is not clear because as I mentioned, I took it from my colleague. So for example, insecure land rights, tribal issues, and these tribal issues, because I live there were a lot of people. It was like mainly, actually, before tribal issues, it was a conflict between the political issue. So the government, because they said that there is a lot of problems in a specific area, to control that problem, they target a specific group of people who were like threatened that area. So they were trying to make them to defend that area or to make it secure. And that thing caused a lot of tribal issues. So there are different tribes. There are African tribes and there are Arab tribes. And these tribes being like fighting together and being fought together, sorry, and they create the issue. And it started from lands. If we talk about the causes, then the land, it was main cause, and colonial approach. And there are a lot of other political issues from other countries that could be also the cause of this. And if we also focus on these, why, for example, these countries, other countries who are a part of this, they have their main reasons because they want, for example, the minerals they are there. They want, for example, the resources they are there. So these are the causes. The more you find the cause, you go deep to find another cause. Then again, what is the consequences of the conflict? Because the conflict is already there, and you know the causes of that. What is the consequences? The consequences is that war, and after that war, a lot of people died, which is death, loss of assets, loss of a lot of damage, environmental damage, no resources, no needs, no water, forced displacement, and attacks, starvation, people cannot find food, and loss of social support mechanism. So when you try to find a main core of the problem, the causes of the problem, the consequences, it will be easy for you to formulate your problem statement, which is about research. So if I would like to conduct a research about the effect of these violence conflict, then I will say clearly that I would like to do a research on the violent conflicts, because it's very, very important. It has a lot of causes. That's the reason, the causes between that, and it leads to a lot of consequences. So you formulate it in this way. There's another example also, I took it. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. So this is also, if there's anyone who work in food security or agriculture, we can take this example about rice productivity. So in general, nowadays, like as you can see, there is a lot of inflation and food start being reducing, or let's say there is a shortage of food, water, whatever. So the rice is one of the things. If we take the core problem, which is the rice productivity, which is very low, we need to see what's the causes behind the rice productivity. For example, irrigation system does not work properly. So why the irrigation is not working properly? We can say, for example, terminal facilities are not well maintained, or for example, there are no tools to use for irrigation. Also traditional farming methods, there is no new techniques. That's why it could be like causes. So the more I take one cause, I can find more causes. So these are the causes. What effect behind that, which is the consequences? So this should be my justification. So rice productivity is low. What caused that? Farmers have to work long hours. If the farmers work long hours, what will cause them? The long hours that they work, the hard work they gain, specifically if they are under the sun, it could cause a lot of other diseases. So I hope this example is clear about the problem tree. And you can just put your own problem as a main core of the problem, and you just try to find the causes of that. So it will be easier, and you will be easier to find, for example, ideas. You can think more or brainstorm more ideas. Next slide. So as a researcher, there are a lot of skills you need to know. And I remember when my supervisor or my mentors, he told me that to be a researcher, you need to be a scientist, you need to be a designer, and you need to be analyst. So these are three main things you need to do it. But one of my advice to give it to you, if you don't have a mentor, seek for a mentor. And this mentor could be anyone, even if like the senior. If you are like studying or pursuing any degree, it could be your senior 2 years before you, for example. He's really good and he had that experience. Fire a mentor. Why? Because the more you find a mentor, the more you can discuss, the more you can find new ideas, the more you will be updated, the more you will find guidance. Another thing, designing. You have to know exactly, as I mentioned, there are a lot of type of studies. So study types. So you have to know how to design a research, the structure of the research. What should I do? You have to know how to collect the data, manual or online. You have to know like to analyze the data, to know a lot of softwares. Nowadays, there are a lot of softwares to analyze like R, SAS, SPSS, and it depends on your field. I'm not mentioning, but that's Python, for example, and there are tools specifically for visualization. There are tools for statistic, for example. But there are some people, for example, they just, when they would like to conduct a research, they just try to find statistician to help them. I'm not against that. That's really good, specifically if you have people from different fields. But to know your research, you need to know how to analyze. Specifically, if you have, like if you are in the field for medical field or epidemiology, most of the epidemiologists nowadays, they know how to analyze because they have their own way of interpretation behind the result. And if you would like to involve a statistician in your study, you have to involve that statistician in very, very early stage. Because if you involve that statistician after you collect your data, it is meaningless. It doesn't make any sense because he might change all the data. And to change the data, you return again from the beginning to collect your data. So you have to put that in your mind. You need also presentation skills. So you have to find like a way to present. What you learn, teach it. There is a conference to be a part, just go there. There is a session to educate people, just go there. Try even in the normal session, talk to people. So you will strengthen that way of talking to people. Time management also, collaboration. For example, this session is one of very good networking and collaboration. You can search in the chat which your field, what you are interested in, you find people. AuthorAID also, they have a lot of groups. There are a lot of groups in research in LinkedIn if you search there. So the more you find a lot of networks, a lot of groups, for example, well, let's say that you came to AuthorAID and you find someone in your field you would like to discuss. That someone, he has another group, which is a part of. When you discuss with that person, you'll find another. So this is how networking goes. Also, digital literacy, softwares, as I mentioned, it should be a part. Next slide, please. I think this is my last slide. I would like to talk more about time management and how you can manage your time, because it's easier for us to talk about how to get started with research, but at the same time, it's really difficult if you have a lot of, if you are busy, you have a lot of things to do. So how to manage that time? You can divide, specifically time management, they have been divided to energy versus productivity versus value. So for example, there is a time of the day you feel like very high energy, very productive, and vice versa. So let's say that you have a low energy and low productivity, which means you won't achieve anything and it's waste of time. And let's say that you have high energy, low productivity, which means you are wasting anything, at the same time, no achievement. You also have low energy, but high productivity. You can achieve some, which is somehow we can say that good use of time. And if you have both of them are high productivity and energy, in this case, this is the most achievement, which is the best value of your time. So if I have, for example, 5 hours, I will ask myself, what is the things, the most valuable things that I can do it in in 5 hours? And at the same time, I'll ask myself, okay, it's valuable and I have time. What is the time from the day? Am I like an early bird or night owl, for example? Should I put that? So you have to know, if you are an early bird, you have to put the very difficult task in the morning, which could be from 8 to 10, which you have high energy, and that time where you can your productivity will be very high. So you will put that task in. And the time that you have really low energy, very low productivity, you'll put the easiest task on that. So you won't waste time accordingly. So that's how. And then you have to track your day. When you track your day, you will know exactly, I have that task on that day, I have that task on that time. Every time you will check it. So you have to put one goal, how important that goal, and the value of that goal, and the productive time. This is always you have to put it. And I would like just to share, I'm not sure if you hear, there are a lot of rules that you have to use regarding productivity. For example, there are a rule of 2 minutes. And usually they say, if it just takes 2 minutes, do it. Why you are waiting? What are you waiting for? If it takes 5 minutes, just do it. 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Or if you feel really drained and you cannot do something, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start doing it. And also other rules for productivity. If you would like, if you have one goal, because they are yearly goals, and these yearly goals, you have to divide it in quarter goals. And after that, each quarter goal, you have to put one goal, and these goals, you have to put it in sub goals. So every time, for example, there is a rule of 90-91, which is you have one goal. For example, you would like to study research methods or research methodology. I would like to study it for 90 days, and which will take 90 minutes per day, and this 90 minutes per day, it has to be in the early morning if you are really early bed before you go to work, which is 1.5 hours, let's say. It should be very early, and you have to be committed for 90 days, and one is one goal. So these are one of the rules that people use. And also one of the tools or rules that they use it, for example, for finance or how to save your money. They use, I think, 60, 30, 10, which is 60, it could be like for your rent if you are renting, and for your surviving. 30, you divide it for emergency, for saving, and 10 for fun, and the other 10 for investment. So if you have a salary, when you divide it to this, you'll find it works actually. If you don't have a mind of investment, just keep saving your money because you will need it. So these are just small things you can use, and also you can use a lot of tools for tracking your things, and you can share what tools you are using. I can share with you. Athia, just a moment. I want to share. I hope this time it can be shared from my. I want to share with you which tool I'm using. I'm using Notion. I'm not sure if you heard about it and how I used it in tracking my. Athia, are you here? Can you
Yes.
stop sharing? I would like. Yeah, I just would like
I'm
to share
trying
my.
that. Okay.
All right. It seems like I am able only just to share my whole screen, but I will try. For example, I'm using Notion. I'm not sure if you heard about Notion before, but Notion is very, very, very good tool to use to track your data. What I'm using is that I have my personal dashboard, and in the dashboard, I'm putting my picture, which is can give me, and I'm putting Pomodoro timer. Pomodoro is one of the productivity methods. So you can divide it in break, or the main one, which is, it has different session. The working session is like 25 or 30 minutes. You can take more than one session. And I have motto, which I use it, which is like, for example, word of the year, fake it until you make it, which give me that, like, what can I say? Passion, or give me that energy. One intention for a year, for example, I put it and break it down. And again, like, I put a timer. I put what I want exactly. My current status, it was for 2023. Now my current status, what do I want? For example, books I would like to read. The rest I want to take. Money that books I would like to do, how much I would like to save to quarter, and my week in a calendar, what should I do? And then I put it in colors. This is, for example, this color for personal. This is for accepted society. This is, they are a lot of things, even for thesis, for example. Thesis planning, how you plan your thesis. And for example, the thesis, the timeline, which this chapter I would like to work it. This is very old one. This is, I didn't edit it long time ago because I use the manual one nowadays. From the idea, from the presentation, to explore the idea, the application, and also my personal home, how I divided my goals. It's like, let's say, yearly goals, for example. I divided to spiritual goal, personal goal, academic goals, health and physical. And this is what I mentioned, like financial, that's what I was. Other that I want to do, what I want to buy. For example, in the academic, I'm following the strategy of 90-90, 10, for example, and in each one. So this is just an example of what usually I track my things, or I organize my things, and you can, at the end of the day, select the things that works for you. I hope that's it for the session. I hope like you get what you want to attend this session. I just wanted to make it not that much because each topic that I mentioned, it can be a broad topic, it can be a session for itself. So if you have any questions, you can share. If you used any of the tools that I mentioned, you can mention it.
Thank you so much for
there's someone
sharing.
else.
I really appreciate all the information that you gave out, and it's a lot. Thank you so much. I'll just like you to tell me again the ratio for keeping your finances. I think you mentioned something like that, like 60, 30, 10, 10 or something. So can you please say that? I think that would be useful for me. So I just want to note it down.
Sure, it's 30, it's 60, 30, 10. And 60 for your surviving and rent. Maybe I can post it also. And 30, you can divide it to 3/10, which is 10% for your investing, 10% for emergency, 10% for fun, and the last 10% it will be for saving.
Emergency. What are the two other ones for? Huh?
Emergency, investing,
Okay. Okay.
fun, and saving.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Please, is the Pomodoro app, I think that's what it is a paid one. And if it's a paid one, what's the subscription plan like? And can it be used on any platform?
Well, I didn't write in any specific platform. First of all, it's for free. I just use it in Notion. And if you would like to take the dashboard that I have it and you would like to edit it, I can also send it to you, which has also Pomodoro. But usually, for example, I just open online Pomodoro and set it for 25 minutes. And it gives me the ringing after 25 minutes, like it's your break time. Then I take my break time.
Thank you so much. Please, I would love to have the dashboard. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. The ratio, I think there's a question in the chat, the ratio for time, yeah, it is 90-90-10. Oh, sorry, 90-91, which is one goal for 90 days and for 90 minutes per day. I'm not sure if there are other questions.
If there are not questions, maybe we can take a picture. Yeah, shall we take a picture, Nafisa?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. If you are comfortable, please turn on the video. So you can also see in the chat box that I have, I will put it again. I have listed down the mediums through which we can stay connected. We have a community of more than 15,000 scholars with us, and to join that, you can join our Google group on AuthorAID and sign up in our website. I have also sent the Twitter link here. We are very active on Twitter. You will get the information about whereabouts of AuthorAID and what is going on, the programs that are ahead of us, everything on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Please follow us there. Another thing is you can also contribute the resources that you like, the resources that you have drafted, you have furnished. For that, there is a link. The other is we publish weekly blog posts. In 2023, we had like blog posts coming up every week. So if you have, we want to keep that pace and we want our community to contribute. So please contribute your blog and articles, anything, your experiences, your opinions and things. There's the link for that. And thank you so much, Nafisa, for a very amazing session. I also tried using Notion app, but I couldn't I couldn't get to it. I need
It's
to really
actually very
learn.
helpful, very helpful, but it really needs time. Like you can just every time to try to figure out idea, but you can just manage your whole life in Notion. You can do that.
On it. Need to manage the life. So please turn on your video, and we are taking a picture. So many of you have not done it yet. I'll just go ahead and take a picture. And thank you so much everybody for joining in. It is really wonderful having everybody in. We do have another tea time on the 26th. I can just share the link here so that you can register it. So here is a link. Hoping to see you there also. It is on how to become a global scholar in a polarized world. Very interesting topic indeed. Hope to see you there. I'll take a picture now, so please smile. Something fun poses, anyone? Yeah, I like it. I have to take a picture, so I can't do it. So you can go ahead and try it, and I'm taking a picture now. Nafisa, you can try your fun pose. Okay. Yeah. Shall we end?
Yeah, I think that's it. If there are no other questions. And there are some people asking about the PPT. I'm sure I'm going to show it to them.
I will email the presentation and the recording of the session later on, if that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you so much, Jaina, for helping in the background. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. We are ending now, and see you on the 26th, if that's possible, and in other programs of AuthorAID. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nafisa. It was
Goodbye.
wonderful having you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Nafisa. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.